just like that, we are back inside the festival for another conversation with interesting Caribbean influences. Today, I have DJ RLM coming straight out of Tampa, Florida. What's up, RLM?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Pascal? How are you?
And it is such a pleasure to get you on the line. We met via Epiphany Mass, and
Yeah.
you were getting ready for Virginia Carnival. You have quite a few things that you've been doing out there in Virginia. You're a
hmm
DJ. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on the festival program. Appreciate it. And of course, it's always a pleasure to sit down and talk to like-minded people within the music industry. So, thanks again for having me as well. So, the Virginia Beach International Carnival, as we know, that was back in on the 18th of of July. So yes, for I do quite a bit when it comes to that. So just a little bit of history. Before I moved to the Tampa area, I lived in Virginia in that area for about maybe 7 years, and within that time, I was able to connect with the not only the Caribbean diaspora but also the African diaspora. So I was able to create I should say social. I like saying social rather than events because that's what it's about. Just bringing people together to socialize through music, of course. So I was able to create what I called Afro Love while I was out there. I was a co-creator of that and build a support system through that. And through that support system, I would say I was able to do other things, connect people with people, and eventually start doing events, which I would get support from everywhere. So during the Virginia Beach International Carnival, I'm able to put together events that get a lot of support, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, take us back a moment to the time when that switch flipped in and you was like, this is what I want to do. This is what made you realize that you wanted to be behind the decks and that was your calling. Like your origin story.
So way back. So we go way back. So I would say I did not know that I wanted to be a DJ at first. I knew I wanted to be an artist. So I used to write music. So back in the Caribbean, that's what I used to do. I'm from Grenada, and I would say that's where I started my venture into writing music. But I left Grenada in 1999, and I moved to DMV area, which is Maryland, right outside DC, right outside of DC. That DMV area is Maryland. DC, Virginia is a tri state district area, I guess you can call it. So I moved in that area, and I would say while I was there, that kind of took me away from writing, so to speak. I think my passion for writing was when I was back in the Caribbean. So moving there, I think life happened. Life in the US is a lot different from life in the Caribbean. So I had to figure out a way to become a professional within the US. And that's what I did. And my profession took me away from the DMV area and took me all over the world. Took me to Virginia as a home base. And then after that kind of went all over around the world. Within that time, since I was not writing anymore, I did pick up mixing as mixing as a not as a profession, but as a fun for friends. So I'd make mixes. I had a couple friends that used to mix as well, and I would exchange mixes. So that's kind of where it really started. I'd make a mix, give it to a friend, and they would share it amongst their friends, and vice versa. I enjoyed listening to to mixes. After that, I would say I was overseas outside of the US, and I met a Jamaican DJ who goes by the name of DJ Fresh. Big up yourself, DJ Fresh. And he was a prominent club DJ, and at that time we were living in Korea. That time I was living in Korea, South Korea. So he was a prominent club DJ out there in all the clubs. And of course, he heard my mixes because he had a whole bunch of mixes that I used to make and share. But I wouldn't call myself, I wouldn't say that I was out there like that. It wasn't never really my intent. And he heard my mixes, and who used to try and motivate me to, hey man, you should come out and put yourself out there. And I say, well, that's not really my intent. But one day he caught me really good. He was doing a party. I always used to go to his parties, and he was like, man, I gotta use the restroom. I went to use the restroom. He was like, hey, just go ahead and hold the decks down for me till I get back. So I did that. And when he came back, I was like, all right, here you go. And he was like, no, you're gonna hold on the rest of the night. I'm not going back home. I feel like that was his way to kind of push me into into I guess getting out of the idea of I don't really want to be out there like that. He always said to me, you got too much talent to be keeping that to yourself."
So when you first stepped up to play, what was the standard that you held yourself to compared to what you see today?
So I always felt like it was years that I was mixing. So I can play. It's just that sometimes you feel you're never good enough. And I don't know if that was probably one of the reasons why I didn't have an interest in playing out, or it just wasn't motivation for me. I knew I could play, but I'm not sure what was holding me back from putting myself out there. But I knew I was good. I feel like because I've always kept a journal of mixes that I've made, and these are mixes that I've shared with my friends, and always kept a journal for myself. Throughout the years, I was able to see the improvement, and I would say that I wasn't. I feel like as DJs, we're really hard on ourselves. Sometimes we feel like our mix isn't good enough, yada yada, and someone else listens to it and they're like, "Hey man, this mix is perfect. This is the mix I've been waiting for." But for us to make the mix, my goodness, this I wouldn't have put. I didn't want to put this out there. Sometimes we hold ourselves at a really high standard, but again, sometimes when we do that, we kind of block our blessings by not putting out possibly a good product.
It's funny that you would say that. I was speaking to Jeff Day, and they were talking about their insecurities in mixing, right?
Hmm.
But then they invited me to check out their stream on the radio station that they're at. And I was like, I don't know where what you worrying about. It's like it's only when you acknowledge that like when you acknowledge that everybody is listening, then all of a sudden, like you looking like a deer in headlights. But if you just focus on the music, that's
Right.
really what it is. It's like we're so concerned. Sometimes we get in our head about everyone else and what they're going to think, and we
Yeah.
forget that this is what we do. Like show off a little bit. I
Mm.
mean, this is you. But
Right.
you brought up something. You said 1999. So let's take this back. I'm without doing any math.
Mm.
Is there an age limit to music or DJing?
I say music is a big part of us on our day to day, and that's from a child. I mean, as far as I could remember, as far as I know myself, I've been a lover of music. Whether it's that's the DJ on the radio, CDs, cassettes, records, I've been a lover of music, and I feel like that never changes, right? As you grow older, then you just incorporate some of the newer stuff, and your 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 range of music knowledge just gets bigger. And I feel like, let's say you become a DJ, that doesn't change. The passion still continues, and I don't believe like there's an expiration date. I feel like if you're a DJ, you love music. Why not do it for as long as you can? Why should there be an expiration date to it? Age doesn't matter. I feel like the day I stop playing music is the day it starts feeling like work. And I don't see music ever being work.
Right.
So
But do
yeah,
you
so
think
I
that
would.
in our community, people that
Mhm.
have the same pigmentation as us, do you think that in our community we put emphasis on age when it comes to creativity?
I've heard someone make a comment, but this was outside of our community, outside of our, and the comment was that a lot of the DJs are older, and I find that to be, yes, yeah, I find that to be untrue because I feel like the DJ market is just oversaturated with young folks. So I wouldn't say that it's, yeah, I wouldn't say that at all.
Well, it depends on where you are, right? Because if you are in a venue where the DJ is anywhere from 15 to $20,000, then definitely you're going to have a more mature DJ. Reason
Right.
being, they have a wider catalog,
Hmm.
and they have a larger knowledge base of music, right? But if
Yeah.
you're looking at club DJs, they you find them to be a little younger. So it would seem that there are more mature DJs in
Hmm.
circulation because they're the ones that now have visibility. They
Mm.
didn't just
Yeah.
happen overnight,
Yeah.
but they've built their careers 10, 20, 30 years to be in places where there are 50 to 500,000 people outside.
Right. 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 Yeah.
That might
Yeah.
it might I mean, that's when you look at it from that perspective, that's the optics of it, right?
Hmm.
But Jazzy Jess is Jazzy Jeff. I think Jazzy is almost 55 or something like that. Cool. He just turned 60, I believe.
Yeah.
DJ Red Alert, like Stone Love and all these people that we grew up on, they were old when we was young.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So like,
Absolutely.
are they no longer good?
And that's the thing. Why have an expiration date to it? You're good at what you do. You love what you do. Music is still a passion. You don't need to put an expiration date to it.
Now,
If you enjoy it, then just do it.
recently, I heard a conversation in regards to soca music and the evolution of soca music,
Hmm.
and I found this almost laughable because they said Patrice Roberts is old. Like
Oh, really?
old people need to move on.
I don't understand why they would say that. But Jesus is in the prime of her career, you know?
But that
Yeah.
to show the concept of ageism is real, right?
Hmm.
The concept of ageism is real, and they say make way for the youth, whatever. But it's the same premise as
You
if
still there?
Marshall started at 8 and he's still doing it at this age. At one point, even in his 20s, he might have been considered old because he had been doing it for so long. Case in point, Aaron Duncan. He's been doing it since he was 12. He's finally
Just a
again,
little bit.
and he's putting out music, but in the conversation that was being had, they were classifying him as old. And I'm like, so in that instance, that's perspective. My question
Yes.
to you is, how has the entertainment landscape mutated since you began? Saying that perspective is the idea that something is old because you've seen it for so long. That doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that that is old. It just means that they have a longer lifespan in that particular space.
Hmm. Yeah.
Which means that that is your perspective because you're not looking at it from the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and with music, I feel like just from me watching music, listening to music over the years. Of course, we have the years that we call the golden age, the 80s, the 90s, and music was very different from from now. But I feel like throughout the years, let's say decade. Each decade, the artist offers something different, or the music changes, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily for the worse. It's just different, and I feel like listeners and as people who love music, you just adapt. It's a different sound, so I just try to appreciate music for what it is, and for that time period. What we heard in the 2000s is different from what we heard in the 2010s, and it's different now in the 20s. And what's interesting, that's across all genres from pop. to hip hop and R&B to soca to dancehall. It's just different, but it's still music and it still has something to offer.
Right.
So that's the way I look at it.
I want to know, or I should say that I've heard the complaint, and again, these are from podcasts that talk about DJ culture. One of the things is that they feel that modern DJs aren't playing for the room, but playing for social media clips or chasing viral moments.
Mhm.
What is your perspective on that?
Basically, I would say in this digital era right now where social media is a big thing, I feel like sometimes there's social media. We do know that on social media your reach is a lot bigger. So a lot of people they get on social media just so that they can grow. And I feel like in order to grow, there is an element of social media that has to be present in your career. Not so much, and that's across the board. You see great DJs that are not being recognized because they're not really on social media like that. So I would say at the end of the day, the baseline is the music. That is the foundation, and presenting that music the best possible way that we can as DJs to the listening audience. That is what's important. Not so much the optics of things through social media, even though social media is a big part of how you would grow in today's time. Everybody's stuck on social media. So yeah, it's a big part, but the foundation should be the way you present that music across to the audience. At the end of the day, it's not about us; it's about them.
So, do you play for the gram or do you play for the people in the room?
No, for me, I could care less about social media. In fact, sometimes it becomes overwhelming for me. But I play for people. I love playing at an event and just watching people enjoy themselves. I love seeing people enjoy themselves and knowing that what I'm doing, the way I bring in this mix, the way I bring in this transition, the song that I choose, affects them in that kind of way to where they're really enjoying themselves. That brings me joy. That brings me satisfaction. So I feel like that's what's important. And that's what's important to me. Not anything else. Just entertaining the people and making sure that they enjoy themselves.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about music because for me, it's always about the music, right? If you
Right.
could only preserve three tracks in your entire library, the top
Whew.
tracks of all time that define your DNA as a DJ, what are they and why?
My gosh, I was never asked. Yeah, that's wow.
They usually do the top five dead or alive, right? No, I'm flipping it. What are the top three records in your entire library across
Oh my gosh.
that define your DNA as a DJ?
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. There's just so many genres. I'm such a fan of music. It's very difficult to break that down to just three tracks. It's so many. But I can tell you Barry Salmon's Sweet Lies would probably be one of those records. It's very difficult to break that down.
It is,
I
right?
say but yeah, I would say Barry Salmon as one of those track Sweet Lies is because that's a song that I absolutely love and I think I know that song word for word, but it's
So
just one of those songs that hit me different.
construct that question. If
Hmm.
your hard drive was to fall out right now,
Yeah.
and you was like, God, please don't let these songs be gone.
Yeah.
What would be the top 10 songs? You'd be like, oh Jesus Christ, please don't let these be gone.
Yeah, so that song would be right there. That Barry Salmon Sweet Lies would be right there. Coming in from the Cold by Bob Marley would be right there. And whew, what's the other one? I'm not sure what the other one would be. And that's reggae. Yeah.
But that shows automatically that shows your DNA. Like that is rooted in
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think people understand the value of backing up your hard drive
Oh
because
yeah. Oh yeah.
listen, I was in a club and I was rocking it, right?
Yeah.
And I went to the bathroom and when I came back, my hard drive was gone.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't know if
That's
you
tough.
understand the type of pain that I was
Yeah.
in
Hmm.
because I come from an era where I collected records, then I
Yeah.
CDs. Then I
Hmm.
digitized everything so that I could have it on my hard drives, and I carried decades and decades of music only for somebody to feel like they were entitled to all of the music that I had.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sad thing.
And then you have like exclusive drops and dub places you got from people, and you sit in there like, so you have
You lost all that. Right. You lost all that.
the back of your stuff. So that's why I said, let me reframe it to, if this crashed out,
Yeah.
what do you hope believe is left? And you
Yeah. Yeah.
said Paris, you said Bob Marley. So out of anything, those are records you can't get back, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's a, I don't know. I had flashbacks and memories.
Yeah.
I had a trauma response just now. You would think I
So
would know this.
yeah. So though, when it comes to me and music, I think I have like three backup drives, and then I keep my music on the laptop. So I know a lot of DJs they rather have their music on the hard drive and then they go out because it'll be faster runs, more
Right.
efficient. But I keep my music on the laptop and my flash drives at the house. So
You don't have that problem. Nobody gonna get you.
that never I have had to rebuild my music library before because for something similar to what you said, except mine wasn't stolen. My drive went bad on me, and I lost every single thing that I had. So I had to rebuild. And rebuilding, we collect some exclusives and some rare records that was very hard to find. So if you lose that, then it's a possibility you might not be able to get that back. So
Right.
yeah, I try to be very careful.
Right, right. And with I think that at one point when I really understood the mortality of music was during
Hmm.
the pandemic when I lost so many of my artist friends.
Yeah,
So many
yeah,
freestyles and dub plates that I'll never get again because they're no
yeah,
longer here.
yeah.
You know
That
what I
was a
mean?
sad time.
And then
Hmm.
you had like, yeah, it's just like just conversations and things with people that are recorded,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
just have to make sure that you're constantly moving this content to different places so that you have them.
Hmm.
Many DJs stay strictly behind the console. What
Hmm.
compelled you to step into the event production and take the risk on building experiences from scratch?
Whew. So basically, when I left overseas and I came back to the U.S., I did not like. Well, number one, okay, so I'll go back just a little bit. So while I was overseas, I spent a few years in South Korea, and throughout that experience, I was able to play because I'm a multi-genre DJ. I was able to play in the hip hop and R&B space. I was also able to play in the Caribbean space. I was also able to play in the African space. So I developed quite a nice catalog. And what I enjoyed doing was merging all three, and a little bit more to Latin as well. So that's what I like to do. Just bringing all these genres together because again, you have people from all walks of life who are there in the same space, just enjoying the music, and they're getting a little bit of what they want. So when I moved back to the US, I wanted to create that experience, but and I wanted well, number one, I wanted to DJ within the US again, but I wanted to create that experience that I was providing while I was overseas. And number one, I couldn't find a spot that that was doing that, was merging all the different genres together. So I decided, hey, I was going to find my own venue and and create that space. And it became very popular, and it just grew into something phenomenal. And I would just say it's just yeah, it's just the passion of wanting to have different walks of life enjoying themselves together as one unit. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I ended up doing.
Well, nightlife is often criticized for copy and paste party templates.
Hmm.
How does a DJ RLM event deliberately break that mold and offer a different sonic narrative?
Well, at DJ RLM events, number one, when I walk into a room, I have no idea what I'm gonna play. So I feel like right there, that's different. Sometimes people they plan the night. I absolutely have no clue what I'm gonna play, and that's every event that I've ever done. Unless, of course, it's a wedding or a private event where you're specifically asked to play certain things. But in that type of environment, I never know what I'm gonna play. So I walk in, and when I walk in, I create the vibe that I want people to come on. And let's just say there's another DJ there who's already playing, and then I'm coming in after. Then when I walk in, I take that space and bring it to where I want to go. I expand on what the other DJ is doing, and then I just continue taking it to where I want to go. And I feel like because of that, because I create my own vibe, I feel like I've developed my own support of people that hey, wow, this is different. A lot of times when people come to a party that I'm playing, they hear something they don't expect to hear, and I absolutely love that.
So, opener, prime time, or closer? Which one would you prefer? Which slot?
For me, it doesn't matter. And I say it doesn't matter because I absolutely love creating. Take, for example, just did an event in Fort Lauderdale. I was the first DJ to play. I was also the last DJ to play. So I was able to walk in and create that vibe and let people feel out, hey, this is what the night is gonna look like. And the other DJs came on, they did their thing, and at the end of the night I took it to another level as the closer. I don't think for me it doesn't matter. What matters to me, and I feel like that's more personal thing. It's like, okay, well, I want to be the closer. I want to be the, and it's not that for me. The music for me is all about the people. So when I go there, that position doesn't matter. I just want to be able to give the people an experience that they would enjoy. That's all it is for me. I'm perfectly happy being the first. Sometimes, especially now, as I'm yeah, a little bit more seasoned, sometimes being the last DJ is not what I want.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
What creation of Afro Love Nation? What void in the culture were you filling, and what is the core philosophy of that brand?
For Love Nation. Yeah. So back to me wanting to create a space that different walks of life could enjoy. So I'll have to give you a little bit more history on that. So when I came back to the US, I did my own event. It was a dancehall event. That went well, but then I realized I was very limited in what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more inclusive. And I remember I was booked to do an event called Expressions. And the name speaks for itself, Expressions. It means this night is not about it's this night is about the DJ. It's about the people there just enjoying what the DJ plays. Expressions. It was a staple event in Virginia at the time. So I remember I went there and I was one of the DJs. It was a DJ named DJ Shablas. These are turntablists. Shout out DJ Shablas. It was a guy named Mad Skills, who was a legend in Virginia, Richmond. He's a rapper DJ. And who else was on there?
Wait,
I
you
can't
said
remember the else.
Matt Skills, the rapper, is also a DJ?
Yeah, yeah, Mad Skills.
Okay.
Mad Skills, the rapper, is one of the dopest DJs.
And a dope ass rapper.
So that was the cast for the night. It was me. It was Shablas. It was Mad Skills. And I remember I was the first DJ to play. I think it was another DJ, but I might have been the first. I might have been the first or the second DJ to play. But anyways, I go on there, and my vibe was so different in that, not different from them. It's just different because I just had that years of being overseas, playing in so many different venues and merging so many different genres into one. So when I went on that stage, that's exactly what I did. What I felt was the thing to do. So I was in the R&B, I was in the pop, I was in the hip hop, I was in the Afro beats, and I remember Shablas, DJ Shablas, who is a very dope DJ in the DMV area. Came and he was like, "Hey man, keep going, bro." Once he said keep going, and I can tell you. That was probably my breakout, as well as, okay, well, I'm playing with other DJs, which I've played with other DJs before, but I haven't played with, I would say, not to take away from any other DJs that I've played with, but DJs with that type of skill, technical skill, on the turntablism and the scratching and the stuff like that. So when he came and he was like, hey man, keep going, I knew I was doing something good, and clearly was enjoying what I was doing. So I kept going. And I think he actually cut his time short to allow me to express myself a little bit more. And then after that, he came on, and then Matt Skills came on, and it was just a phenomenal night, and a phenomenal night for my career as a DJ is just historic, right? So after that event, I realized that that right there, the merging of different genres and just so many different. Because in that at that night, there were Caribbean people, there were American people, there were Latin people. Everybody was there enjoying themselves. So at that moment, I decided, hey, yeah, this is what I need to do. So started doing my own events where I would merge the genres, and I realized, hey, it was getting popular. The venue that I was doing it at, shout out my boy Andu. It was Andu Suka Lounge. That used to be packed. You couldn't walk in. It's just no room, even though it wasn't a big venue, but there's absolutely no room. And then it was an after hour spot. So after people leave the club, then that's where they come. So I decided, yeah, this is the direction we're going to go, because it's a definitely a void within the area. And that's what I decided to do. So we created Afro Love, the Afro Love Party, and the Afro Love was supposed to be an Afro Caribbean party. So basically, it's hip hop, it's R&B, it's dancehall, it's reggae, it's soca, it's Latin, it's zouk, it's compa. It's everything that encompasses the diaspora and beyond. And that event became very popular, and it was outside of the typical Caribbean space. It was outside of the typical hip hop and R&B space. It was just like an in between, and people just absolutely loved it. So that was the idea behind that event. And then once I realized, like, there was people enjoyed that was enjoying that so much, is it's just one of those things. The venue started reaching out, hey, can you come bring that vibe to our venue? And that's what we did.
So that's where the Afro Love Nation came in. You took the concept and turned it into a brand.
Took the concept of Afro Love Party and turned it into a brand, Afro Love Nation. Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the regional shift. Where did jab in Florida derive from, and how did Florida shape a distinct sound and expression?
Well, I'm Grenadian, born and raised. I moved to the U.S. when I was a month shy of 18, and then I would say I lived in Virginia longer than I've lived anywhere else within the U.S. But through that, I've done a lot of traveling based on my regular profession. I moved around a lot. And then at the tail end of my professional career, not my DJ career, my professional, I moved down to Florida. And I moved to Florida, of course, still connected to Virginia because I've done so much in Virginia. I've developed so many, I have roots in Virginia, so many relationships, connections. So it's like a back and forth. There was no sense stopping what I was doing there, even though I was down here. But moving down to Florida, I was able to connect with people from where I'm from, Grenada, and who share the same passion as I do when it comes to the Grenadian cultural aspects of things, the Grenadian music. And the other thing too is, depending on where you are. Take for example Virginia. Virginia is a place that I wouldn't be like so hardcore into let's say the Grenadian music. You you can sprinkle, but I feel like the Caribbean community there, they're not as, let's say, maybe knowledgeable of let's say the Grenadian music. At least back in the day. Not now. I
So
think Grenadian music has become very popular, but back then I would say that it wasn't. So experimenting with an event space of like pushing Grenada music or pushing that culture might not have favored me or worked out so well. But here in Florida, it's a big difference. There's a huge Caribbean population, huge Caribbean diaspora, and that allows that in itself makes it much easier to push the culture so that people can see what the job is all about. So moving down here, I connected with a few Grenadians, and we've developed a nice bond. And being that I'm into events and DJ, and we decided that this is what we should do. Let's just try and push our culture and preserve our culture, showcase our culture within the diaspora. And there's enough Caribbean people here who who's curious about it and may not be as familiar with it, but would like to know more. So that led to the creation of Jab Jab Florida.
To purists who argue that regional adaptation dilutes traditional jab culture, how do you respond?
It's like the ingredients you get from home is different from the ingredients you get from elsewhere. So you can I don't want to say lose, right? Because the tradition is within you. It's just from the outside, on the optics of things, it might appear a little different. Take for example, the Grenadian national dish is oil, and back home you get all the ingredients you want to make a good oil down. But within the US, you may not get all the ingredients that you would use back home. Does that mean that it's not a good oil down? No, it doesn't mean that it's not a good oil down. It just means that some of the ingredients that you would use back home, you just don't have it to use here. But it's still authentic, and you can make it as authentic as possible. And I feel like that's what we try to do. Try to make it as authentic as possible using what we have to use.
So then is it dilution or is it organic evolution?
Yeah, I don't want to say it's dilution. I don't even want to say it's evolution. I just want to say it's just different. You know? It's because evolution insinuates a change, right? And it's not necessarily a change. It's just using what you have to try and maintain that culture. So one of the biggest things as within the U.S., unless you're in New York, is a huge Grenadian population in New York. I think New York has more Grenadians than in Grenada, than actually in Grenada. So the culture would be very potent in New York. So when you go there and you see, all right, okay, this is Jab Jab Yo, man, you're like, yeah, this is Jab Jab like home. Because it's just that many Grenadians in that area versus a place like here, where there's a lot of Caribbean people, but it's nowhere near the amount of Grenadians like there are that are in Brooklyn or New York as a whole. So it would seem like it's not as potent here, even though it is. It's just different.
You're launching a brand new program on Carnival Radio. What can the audience expect from the show and how will it differ from standard radio set?
So yes, and again, Carnival Radio, appreciate coming on board and being a part of that. Appreciate Carnival Radio having me. I feel like I bring energy. I bring a whole different vibe and a whole different style that a lot of people will resonate, and that's what it's about. It's called the Vibes Overload Show, and the reason it's called the Vibes Overload Show is because it's plenty vibe. It's all music, and I just feel like the way I express myself musically is something that people would enjoy.
So, how does leveraging the platform infrastructure through Agency by Playmass allow you to amplify Caribbean culture to a global audience without losing your authenticity?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Just media as a whole, the reach is just we can connect to people all over. We can connect to people in not only in the Caribbean, outside of the Caribbean, in different countries, and then just show them like this is what the culture is all about. You know? This is what the music is all about. So I think that's very important. Yeah, just bringing people together from all over, being able to reach people all over. I think that's a beautiful thing.
When the noise fades and the events end, what is the core footprint you want DJ RLM to leave on the culture?
I feel like whenever that day comes, because I've enjoyed what I do, I love what I do. But whenever that day comes, I would have liked to have made people feel happy, feel like wow, this person, the way they express themselves musically was just what I needed. And I do believe music is healing. Sometimes people are going through a lot of different things, and music. I know, for example, in my lowest times in life, music has been what has healed me, and some DJs is actually what helped me get through those tough times. And that's what I want to leave back. I want people to feel like, oh man, this guy was able to help me through a lot of my toughest challenges, my toughest time, and just leave a legacy, that a footprint that people can follow, not necessarily mirror or look at it as any other person, or just grow on what I left, add to it. So that's what I would like to leave back. I would like to leave that back for sure.
DJ RLM, DJ RLM, let everybody know how they can find you, where they can find you, and how they can connect.
All right, everybody, one more time. This is DJ RLM. I want to say thank you for having me. Appreciate you sitting down here and listening to me on this glorious day. It's been a pleasure, seriously. But you can find me anywhere on social media at DJ RLM 473. Just letters and numbers, DJ RLM 473. And starting the 11th, you're going to hear me loud and clear on Carnival Radio. So make sure you look out there.
And until next time, we are inside the festival with conversations that matter for the diaspora.